guys, and welcome back to Ray's Trains. Today's episode, I think some of you have been waiting for this one, and I'm excited to get into it. So, I know a lot of you are MTH fans. Early on, I was getting a lot of, "Oh, this is a Lionel channel," and I was like, "No." It is not. I do like Lionel, but I'm not exclusive here. It's just kind of what I've been able to buy, and what I'm set up for. So it finally happened. We've got some MTH power here, and I think this is pretty interesting. So sit tight, because this might be a little bit of a longer video. And I also got a cool piece of rolling stock to go with this too, so we'll check that out after we look at the engine. So let's get right into this baby. Now, this, I'm gonna try and get a date on this in the next clip, but this is old. Now, this is not used. This is brand new, never been run until it came into my possession. But I want to say this is from the mid 2000s, 2006, something like that. I'm going to get a real date for you guys, but yeah, never been run until now. And here's an MTH book. And what I've got is we've got an Amtrak switcher by MTH. This thing is a tank. Oh my God. This thing weighs so much. Now, before I go on, let me just make sure. Okay. So this is an SW9. This is now my second switcher. You guys know I recently got the Conrail SW1. This is an SW9. This thing feels like a brick, I swear to God. This does have Proto Sound too. And yeah, when I saw this, I had to have it. It looked too cool not to pick up. Boy, I should get a weight on this thing, because it's really heavy. But so I want to talk about this thing a little bit. So one of the reasons I was slow on getting MTH power, other than money, obviously, is everything I read was, I try to be as informed as I can. You guys know I'm new to this hobby, but I try to do as much reading on like the O-Gauge forums as I can, so I'm informed. So when I go into my train store, I can at least have some idea of what I'm doing. So when I got this at Gersbowski's, big shocker. And again, in a previous video, this is what I was talking about. You can get these little finds at Gersbowski's that are like brand new in the box that you didn't think you could get anywhere outside of eBay. Gersbowski's is the place for that, because you can't find this anywhere on a store. I mean, maybe eBay, I'd have to check, but anyway, so when I was talking to Joe, I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going to need a Z1000 transformer. And I kept mentioning it. He's like, well, I don't have any on hand. He's like, but I could get it here in a couple days. I said, sure, that's great. And as he's getting this out for me from the back, he's like, I'm a little confused. He's like, why do you need a Z1000? And I was like, well, I have no way to run this. I was like, he's like, well, you have a transformer. And I was like, yeah, but everything I've read online, and I'm not making this up, you can Google it. Basically, it's people warning you don't use a CW80 transformer on MTH engines. That's what I read. Multiple places. So of course I'm thinking, well, I better get the Z1000. And he's like, no. He's like, your transformer should work. He said the older CW80s, he's like, yes, they don't like MTH engines, and older MTH engines too. I was actually talking to Jeremy and Corey in Jeremy's live stream about this, because those are a couple of MTH guys. And Corey had said, yeah, it's maybe the older, like Proto 1. And Jeremy actually had a very cool video of what transformers will work with an MTH engine. He didn't do his CW80, but he had a bunch of other ones, and it was very cool. So, long story short, I'm rambling here, but Joe's like, your transformer is brand new. It's a newer one. I guarantee you it'll work just fine with this. So I said, great, that saves me money on buying a ZW or a Z1000. So I took it home. Now, Joe did warn me. He said, since this thing was so old, he says the battery in this might need charging. And I was like, battery? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, there's these batteries in it. He said, if they've been sitting in this box, the thing hasn't been run in 20 years, from whenever it was new. He said, he's like, I think it might need charging. So he actually let me borrow an MTH charger. It looked like a power pack. And there's a little hole right here. Maybe when we're doing the close-ups, I'll show it off. And he's like, if it doesn't work, plug it into that for 12 hours and you should be fine. So I got it on my track, put power to it, and it had everything, sound, lights, everything worked flawlessly, except for the fact it wouldn't move. And that's exactly what Joe said would happen. He's like, it wouldn't sound like dead or anything. He's like, it just won't move. He said, it'll do everything else it's supposed to. It won't go forward or backwards. So I took it off the track. I plugged in the power pack he gave me, and I will put a picture of it up in the corner here so you guys can see what it looks like. Because Joe said they don't even make it anymore. He just happened to have one, and he let me borrow it. So I charged it for 12 hours. Next morning I came down and it worked. No problem. Forward, backwards. I actually was telling guys, this thing runs better with my transformer than the Atlas with the Atlas Amtrak engine I have with TMCC. This thing runs better than that one. Which is very cool, because now that opens the door for me on MTH, so I'm probably in trouble there. But anyway, and another interesting thing is MTH says you can also just leave it on the track powered for 12 hours, and that will also get the job done for recharging a battery. But Joe said that's stupid, because the sound's going to be going off for 12 hours, and that would have been true. Obviously, I didn't want that. So that power pack was really helpful. So that's the story behind this thing. Now I know I can run MTH engines with my little transformer here, because I'm probably not getting like a DCS, remote. Definitely not anytime soon. Not before I get the base 3 and the cab 1. But yeah. So all right, let's. All right, and now let's check this out quick before we turn this around. All right, so I knew I wanted some sort of Amtrak rolling stock to go with the switcher. Beyond just the I only have 2 passenger cars right now. You guys have seen that in another video, but I wanted like an actual like freight car that this thing could push around. And Joe had a pretty cheap reefer. I think it was like $40. And I was like, hey, just give me that. It'll probably look good with this. And he's like, I have something else you should check out. And he brought out a 2-pack of these, and he actually split it for me, because I think it was supposed to be sold as a 2-pack, but I only wanted one. And I got this, which was much better looking than the reefer. And what it is, it's really in there good. Okay, what it is an Amtrak 60-foot mail car. Look how cool this thing looks. Oh yeah. Do the doors open on this? Okay, they do. So yeah, 60-foot Amtrak mail car. Look at this. It says Amtrak. We got a US Amtrak over here and a US Mail right here. Look how cool that is. Much better than the reefer I was gonna buy. All right, so now finally, why don't we we'll turn the camera around finally, and we'll get some close-ups of these guys. Okay, we got the beast here on the track. Looks fantastic. Man, every time I see these MTH engines up close, I just love them. I was right on the date. It was from 2006. So she's pretty old. And no smoke in this thing. I am pretty sure that's what Joe said. I will read the manual just in case. But yeah, no smoke on this. But you got the sounds. Or Proto 2 in this thing. This thing looks awesome. Love this. No crew figure. I guess I could ding it for that because my SW1 had, my Conrail one did have a figure in there, but love the colors on this. The striping, I mean, that looks great. I will show off the hole that I charged it in. Yep, it's right there. That's where I plugged in the power pack, right there. And yeah, made it run. Works with my CW 80. And very cool. The only downside I was thinking is when I do get the base 3 and the cab 1, I will still have to have my transformer plugged in now to run any MTH engines I have, unless I get a DCS system, which like I said, probably not happening. You know, we're getting into a lot of money here at that point. But and this price was really, really great. Probably the cheapest. I'm looking around here. Yeah, I mean, this cost less than even a Lion Chief set. So this is my least expensive engine, yet one of my best looking engines. So, why don't we'll take a look at this car first before we run this thing. Take a look at my mail car. I love this MTH rolling stock. It's so nice. Oh, this thing's so big. It's a 60-footer. I gotta move it back. Well, there we go. Yeah, this is much better than the reefer I was gonna get. These doors do open. I won't do that because I'm sure you guys know what that looks like. The writing, I notice even compared to Lionel, MTH loves to put the detailed writing on here, and it's great. And look, these are separately applied. Just these MTH freight cars are awesome. All right, so why don't we get these two things on the track, and we'll have the switcher push this thing around. All right, guys, let's get power to this thing and see how it sounds. All right, and this is all from the my CW80. So let's try the bell. Let's try the whistle. Okay, that worked. And let's give it some let's roll it out, I guess. Oh, whoops. There we go. All right, we got the mail car hooked up, so let's see it push. It even has a shutdown. That's pretty cool when you cut the power. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Runs really great uh, for being 2006. Very excited to have this thing in my fleet. Mail car looks cool too. So yeah, a nice little find here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So remember to comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.